Hello, and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. To my right, I've got Levi.
Hello.
Gates. And to my left, I've got Anthony.
Stop it.
Fisher. And that's what we're doing today. And Adam Thurman, that was for you. Any rate, guys, why don't we just get into
feels
it?
good to laugh.
Feels good to be back.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been more than a week since we
feels
recorded
like that,
this.
but
It's because I
it was such a
recorded
big
the
podcast.
last one, and I just don't do as
It's
good a
because
job
Tim's
as
back.
Tim
Yay,
does.
Tim.
Yeah,
Tim
thank
kills
you,
it.
Tim.
He masters the levels. He's back on the other side of this wall here.
Yeah, we didn't just
doing
push
God
record,
knows
you
what,
know.
but he makes sure everything sounds good and
right.
looks good.
That's right.
He's a keyboard warrior. He's a ninja on the levels.
He is
you know,
a
just
samurai
of the Ninja.
of the Ninja recording
equipment.
studio.
We literally have like a recording piece that's called a Ninja, so that's pretty cool.
true.
That is.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Anyways.
let's go ahead and jump into this. So what are we talking weekends first?
Let's
what
talk.
are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, first off, just so everybody knows, we just got done having lunch.
Oh, we
Right.
did.
We
With
went.
somebody.
The three of us went
Some
and had
guy.
lunch with a very famous individual.
This is not a morning podcast. This is an afternoon
No, this is an
podcast.
afternoon.
Yeah.
We just got done. We went to the Boise Fry Company.
Of course.
They specialize in French fries
Burgers on the side.
with burgers on the side. So, I got me some bougies.
Some bougie,
It's the
like
bourgeois.
bad and bougie.
No, it's like a
Swiggity swooties coming
bourgeois
for that
fry,
Yeah.
and it's like a traditional russet, but then it's fried in duck fat with
Yeah.
truffle
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah, delicious.
It's ridiculous. You got a large
I
order.
think
didn't
everybody
you?
gained 2
I
pounds
did.
just
I
hearing
did.
you say that.
I got the large order of those fries, and it was a lot. I think that was like 1.5 pounds
Of duck
fries
fat?
of duck fat. But the thing was, I don't think it helped because they have an assortment of different dipping sauces there. They
Yeah,
have like
you went through like
15
8 different little vats
I went through
of
like
dipping
vats of
sauce.
dipping sauces, but like I put a lot on, and then they have all sorts of flavored seasoned salts and things like that. They have like smoky salt,
Yeah.
they have sriracha salt, they have
all
rosemary,
kinds.
they have
It's
all these different
crazy.
stuff. So it's basically kind of like I don't know, it's like a fry bar.
You know who didn't put a lot of sauce or anything on there? Our guest.
Our
Yeah.
guest, he's not in the studio, but our guest
Yeah.
that we took to
Yeah.
lunch. He's here in town to
Give
work.
a drum roll for
No, guys, you just can't hear him.
Jason Kilmer.
Oh,
The Sandman.
What?
We took him out to lunch.
What
So
is he
he's
doing
in
here?
town. He's in town working on a customer's car.
Oh, that's why he's here.
Flew in to get a car ready
Not for
for
you.
Grand National Roadster Show. So he came into town last night, called me and said, "What time's the store open? I need to come buy some stuff." Came
Yeah.
by, got some foam pads, some towels. He even picked up some bead maker.
Hey, yo.
And
The good stuff.
we loaned him our. He called.
Don't hype it.
He called and he's like, "Hey, do you have a rotary? Because I don't want to pack mine." And I said, "I do.
It's funny you should
Actually, I
ask.
do.
It's
Keep this
the-
on the DL,
it's the
Mr. Killmer.
Only Rupes rotary
in the state. Yeah.
So have fun with it." And so he's very excited to be able to play with it and use it. So he's working on a Model A, 29 Ford Model A, and beautiful car. Went and took some pictures of it while I was there. And but yeah, so we took him out to dinner or out to lunch, and we may take him out to lunch again tomorrow just for fun to say hi and hang out.
yeah.
It's always good
Yeah.
to just hang out, talk, and swap stories and shop. So that was good to see Jason. So
I always
yeah.
like seeing
So that
Jason.
was
Jason's
fun.
always just so chill and down for
Yeah.
whatever. Like
yeah.
you can be like, dude, you want to do this? He's like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, he was like, "Where are we going to lunch? Are we going to the Greek place?" I said, "No, we're going to go to Boise Fry Company. That's the place with the really good French fries." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Is that where we went?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm good."
Yeah,
That was it.
let's go. Yeah,
And we drove
we're
over.
He's a
good.
But
mellow
what's nice
dude.
is he's
just
like-
happy to chat.
He's literally like a mile away from us. Like
Yeah.
he's in
Yeah.
a shop like a mile away, and so it was a piece of cake to run over, pick him up, and bring him over, and all
Super
that.
close.
So,
Yeah.
so good. So we've got that. He's in town till Thursday. We're going to be visiting with him. We'll probably do a live video with you guys over at the shop
Yeah.
one of these days this week.
Yeah.
Just so you guys can see kind of the shop. This guy painted this car in his garage, and the garage is a fully set up paint booth. It's crazy.
That's rad.
Beautiful paint job on there. And in all honesty, for that guy to wet sand most of it himself and paint it, it's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Jason said that it came out
Jason's-
pretty
Yeah,
great.
Jason's pretty awesome.
He
He's
said
like
the guy did a
excited.
good job to the point that he really didn't need to sand.
He doesn't have to sand it.
anything.
Yeah.
He just wanted to polish it. And of course, what Jason says goes when it comes to that kind of stuff. Is like,
Yeah.
if he says it, just trust
Yeah,
him.
so that was cool. So that was kind of a fun thing, but we'll get back into this weekend.
Yeah.
I basically just kind of hung out this weekend. I set up my garage.
A low-key one.
Yeah, I set up my garage. I kind of unpacked.
Is this the Master of Shine?
Yeah, so I basically
shop?
set it up to be a detail shop. Unpacked, one of my light tripods and put my light on there. And I ordered a bunch of new clips for my light bars because I can't find them.
Why didn't you just tell me? I had a bunch.
Well,
I literally have a whole box.
$4 to order them.
Well, just saying, I had a box of them.
Yeah, I should have grabbed the ones that we got from here because
we had a lot for here too.
I can't find them anywhere. I took them all down and I packed them, and I don't know where they are.
Contrary to popular belief, we don't live here.
No. Anyway, so I got all those. Ordered those clips. Hopefully they'll come and I can hang my lights.
And these are the Amazon lights.
Yeah, the
Berea Amazon lights, and these are the lights that we've actually recommended multiple times.
We've got them in our studio. They're like $49.
They're for a pack of 6. And so
8.
Or 8, is that what it is?
I think you get 8.
It's a larger pack, but I remember you can get like a whole set for around a little over $100.
Low $50. It's like $49.
People are always looking for a deal. These are the best deal.
They're
for
the
that
best.
Kind of thing,
they're the best
period.
LED tube lights
that you can get for the money, and you can get them.
And you can daisy
and it's not
chain
to say that something's just cheap. You're actually getting a decent quality for it too.
It's a good light.
Puts out good light.
Yeah.
And who knows how long they're going to last because we haven't discovered, if they go out.
I've had mine for going on 8 months now is what I've had them for, and I have the 6500K. There's multiple color options there. I know you got the 6500K as well. In the studio, we did the 4500K. But basically, I've had them for 6 months. I turn them on probably 3 or 4 times a week.
In my old house.
And they take up a small amount of energy. They like Levi said, they daisy chain to each other. They also have little clips to where you can put them side by side, right next to each other. Wish we could make money off of recommending these.
We should.
But
let's get an Amazon affiliate link going, Tim. If you could get started on that.
Dude, we need to keep our integrity.
Because I had a lot of people ask me in the Obsessed Garage group and a couple other groups on Facebook, and they say, "What lights are those?" And I say, "They're the Master of Shine Special. These are the Amazon Master of Shine Special by Berea."
Yeah. But So anyway, got my workbenches set up. I bought another workbench, set up that. Unpacked all my detailing equipment and everything. Got the little spot looking pretty good. I just got to do something with my bikes. That's like the biggest thing.
Can you hang them from the ceiling?
I could, but then I have to get stuff to hang them from the ceiling. The problem is my tandems. The rest of my bikes are fine. It's the tandems that take up so much room. So we'll see. So I'll figure out what to do with them. I'm ready to go.
Suburban of bicycles.
I've already got a job lined up.
Little
gloss coat job for John downstairs.
First major job of the Master of Shine detail shop.
So those of you in the Boise area that are looking to get your car cleaned on a Saturday, give me a call.
Look at this show using our platform.
Only Saturday, though.
Only Saturday.
He's like your car needs to be gone by 8 p.m. on Saturday. Otherwise, Carly's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Get it out of the house.
I'm literally only going to be doing wash and vacs, maybe some quick sprays of some bead maker, some car wax.
But it's a great product testing opportunity, too.
Yeah, it's a lot of product testing. It's a lot of just simple stuff, easy, simple stuff, because I physically am falling apart. I can't keep
your poor elbows.
So eventually, you're going to see me out in front of his house wheeling him around in a wheelchair while his arms sticking out.
Yeah, Anthony's going to come work for me.
Next thing you know, he's going to inherit your business, and it's just going to be... Old man Levi.
Once I get my tattoo sleeves, right, then people will start to think I am Levi, right?
Yeah. He's just gonna get those things that are like pantyhose you just put up on your arm.
Halloween's sleeves. Coming; they're gonna be available.
I should. That's what I should be for Halloween. I should mark my words, right? On Halloween, I am packing.
We'll be at SEMA.
I know, Halloween. But if we do a podcast on the road, I'm packing stuff. To be Levi for Halloween.
But that's the best place you could do it is at SEMA because people will think you're Levi. So.
Yeah.
Like, that's Levi, dude.
That's Levi. That's Levi Gates.
What the hell? There's
you
two
can
of
tell
them.
because he's got the tattoos.
Yeah, you just got to grow out this.
Instead of saying Cadillac Chop Shop, it'll say Honda Civic Chop Shop on the knuckles.
I just wanted to say VTEC, yo.
Yeah,
VTEC. Mad VTEC, yo.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was good. So we did that. Friday night, we had dinner with some friends of ours over at their house.
Yeah.
And then we left to take our kids home because they were tired. Oh, it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And they were like, well, I thought we were still going to play some games. And we were like, yes, we can, but we got to take our kids home. And they're like, that's fine. We have a 14-year-old that'll watch our kids, and we'll just come over to your house. And we're like, give us 45 minutes.
Free labor.
And they only lived across this, just like a block away from us. So it was easy. So we drove back home, put the kids to bed. They came over, and we played Cards Against Humanity until 1:30 in the morning.
Of course.
It was a good game.
Of course.
It's always a fun game.
Yep.
Love that.
But my buddy that was with us, he's forgive me if I mess this up, but he's a Marine gunnery sergeant, and he's working towards his master sergeant. He's supposed to have it at the end of this year. He runs a tank battalion.
That's cool.
And he's got a really cool story, and Saturday was his Alive Day, as he calls it. 13 years ago, he was a gunner on top of a 7-ton Oshkosh military vehicle in Iraq. They hit an IED, flipped him, flipped the truck with him in the gunnery spot on top.
Oh, that's a bad place to be.
Truck landed on top of him.
Oh, wow.
Basically disconnected him.
Like in half?
Basically.
Oh, my God. That
guy
that's
died?
Still,
No,
that guy
he
died.
lived.
No,
Yeah.
still he was skin and everything was still attached.
What's that,
Muscles
Dane,
still
what's
attached.
that line from that movie that you were just talking about earlier?
This was a particularly bad case of a man getting cut in half.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Walk hard, my friends. Walk hard.
Yeah, so they got the truck off of him and he was still alive.
Jesus.
They air evac'd him
Yeah.
to a base on a border where there was only about 15 soldiers on at that border.
Ooh.
And there's no one around for like 200 miles, they said. So it's
This is
literally
it.
middle of nowhere. And one of those dudes was a medic and helped stabilize him. Then they airlifted him all the way to a military hospital and then airlifted him to Germany and put him in Germany. He was in a coma for 2 months. They put him back together. All right. And there's a religious theme below this I'm not going to go into for some of those. If you guys want to know, email me, Levi at the Rag Company. But he, 13 years later, is still active duty, was cleared for medical.
And he's like physically
Wife and 4
capable of-
kids.
Wow.
Yeah. He says he's got some gut issues and
That's to be expected.
has some weird spasm stuff because of nerve damage.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, he became disconnected from the lower half of himself.
It's amazing if that's the worst of it.
Yeah, no, he like I said, he's still active duty, still a Marine, still, I mean, like, guy's a beast.
When you got it in your heart,
And-
you got it in your
yeah.
heart, and that's that.
Wife and 4 kids. So
Yeah.
just a pretty spectacular story. So he retold the story. I love hearing that story. Like,
That
it's
is
one of
great.
those, like, we should have him on the podcast just to tell the story because it's so crazy. Like, when he goes through all the details and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to destroy the story because of that. Like, with my
You're just giving Cliff's notes.
But
here.
it was but pretty amazing stuff. So
Yeah,
and
inspiring
his
stuff.
recovery and stuff is even more crazy and amazing. And so anyway, it was fun to spend time with them. And then Saturday I set up my garage and just kind of hung out. So pretty light
right.
weekend, easy weekend. What'd you guys do?
No, it sounds pretty good. I know Anthony will want to go last because he had a lot of fun
I
stuff
got a lot.
happen
I
this
got a lot
weekend.
to talk about. I feel like I have a lot to talk about lately.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
For those that
For
don't
the
like
podcast,
listening
I
to
think
me.
the listeners enjoy it.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
hopefully.
air bubble in my.
Jeez, Dane.
Yeah. Well, we had.
Sorry, we're all burping. We literally
guys-
just got back from lunch.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
apologize
had a ton of
for this.
fries and we had some flavored sodas there, and they were delicious.
Their homemade sodas are delicious. Okay, anyway, basically, you don't have to worry about me having too exciting of a weekend. I went out
Did
for
you
a
work?
drive in the Miata, had some fun. Well, I did work, but in this
Okay.
case, I was actually scheduled to work because,
Oh, okay.
as you know, I do get scheduled to work Saturdays occasionally.
Yeah.
Perks of being the owner's
The Prince
son
of the
and
Rag
the
Company.
Prince of the Rag Company, basically. I'm in charge of, running the ship on
One day
occasional
every
Saturdays.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
Dane runs
It's
the ship.
basically, yeah. And it's a good time for me to just kind of catch up on my stuff anyway. But,
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's a light
good for
day.
what
It's
it
not
is.
a bad day.
No, not
So-
too bad. But, it is what it is. I just mostly take my weekends lately to kind of get out and enjoy it. The weather finally cooled down
it's
here.
been
That was a
amazing.
big thing was we've been so scorching hot here the
And
whole
smoky.
time. And smoky. You couldn't
Today
see
it was
anything.
beautiful.
So today was a real shift in weather and everything, but the weekend was kind of going that direction where it was cooling off a little. Perfect time to, get out on the road and just enjoy some driving through mountain passes and stuff, which, my cheap little Miata, I love that thing, man. It is such a good little car.
Yeah.
And it's rattles, it squeaks, all those things. but it's a trooper. It just keeps going, and it's so freaking fun to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I know people will rag on it, but I love it. I love
Rag
it.
on it.
Literally.
I have,
Rag on the rag
I have
company
2 other
Miata.
cars, but that one it's one of those ones that just kind of
it's fun to drive.
gets in your
I know
soul.
exactly what
you know,
you mean.
you
Yep.
love it. So yeah. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it, and if I do, I'll probably end up just getting another one.
Yeah.
But at any rate, that's all I really got to share. I mean, I did finish up on the shop journal. I can talk about
saw that.
briefly there.
Yep.
So we did get that out.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. I didn't even know it was coming out yet.
Yeah, I had that scheduled to come out at midnight. So today's Monday. It came out at midnight this morning. So yeah, folks, across the pond got a chance to see it. And then as light found its way to the U.S. here, people were starting to watch it. So if you haven't already, go out, check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Rag
Support
Company.
Levi.
Yeah, Rag Company YouTube. That it's a show that Tim and I have been working on, and it's been an awesome experience. And Tim did a really great job.
And Tim's credit, man, he's been doing all the editing. He shot everything. He did the interviews. He did all that stuff. Basically, it was just you and him. Like, this is very much a show.
Yeah.
It's his baby as far as projects go.
Yep.
So
Then Nate.
Good job, Tim.
Our guy Nate designed our logo for the shop journal.
A rad logo. I love that.
And we kind of went old school Victorian with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it came out really good. And then Tim added some sweet animation at the beginning of the video, so you got to check that out. But I hope you guys like it. It's basically a series in which we're going to kind of go in depth with KRS Idaho, which is Kenny's Rod Shop. And they're a custom car builder. You guys have heard them on the podcast before. Maybe you saw last week's Detox cast where I had the whole crew, minus 2 guys,
the world class
on the podcast, and we just sat and I kind of got deep with them. So now's your chance. You can actually watch it.
Yeah.
So go watch it. Go like it. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the Rag Company
created
YouTube.
a page for it too.
Yeah, and then
that's
we added a page on Facebook. So it's called the
Shop Journal.
Shop Journal on Facebook. Very simple, very easy.
Just go to Facebook / the Shop Journal. That's it.
That way you can keep up on it. We're going to be posting stuff from Kenny's Rod Shop as well. And I think it's really going to be kind of fun because this is the goal of the show is everybody sees a car get built in 30 minutes or 1 hour.
And then there's some manufactured drama, some fake grinder sparks going off in the
Exactly.
background. And it's
Guys
like, whoa, we
yelling
have a
at each
show,
other
guys.
and
no, this is different.
And we didn't want to do that, and Kenny didn't want to do that. Kenny wanted to just show you the process of how much work goes into the car and spend time on the car. So you can see it.
This won't be like a one and done. This won't be a
whole
fast
series.
forward through the whole thing.
We've got a few episodes that we're going to do. I think we're probably, I don't know, Tim will have to correct me, but there's maybe 6, 7 episodes total. We'd like to probably do more. It's just we've got a ways to go still with
and
the
way
show.
I understood, because I really wanted this to be Tim's thing. He was saying like each episode is going to kind of focus in on one of the projects.
Yes.
And then it'll be kind of like a showcase, a highlight, and going through all the nitty-gritty details. So for those of you who just love
you guys geek
tinkering,
out on,
you love engineering, you love metal fab, all that stuff, this really
and we're
gets
talking
into that.
custom car building.
Yeah.
So
not like I slapped some bolt-on parts and called it a day. This is really, really custom
So like
work.
there's a Ford Unibody truck that's in the show, and they took this Unibody that the guy had owned, and it was his dad's or grandpa's truck. And he's a tall guy, and he wanted to fit in it a little better. So they widened the cab. And then to keep the proportions right, they widened the cab by like 4 inches. So they stretched the doors, they stretched the cab, they stretched the floor pan.
Which doesn't sound like
floor
much,
pan.
but it's actually a lot.
But it's a Ford Unibody, which means that the bed is part of the body of the truck. It's all integrated. So then they shortened the bed 3 inches just to keep the proportions all straight, and then they've done a full custom chassis and engine, and I mean they're going all out. And the guy owns a water jet company, and so he water jetted a bunch of the panels.
That was
and
cool to hear too.
Some really neat stuff. This truck has a ton of stuff going into it. It's just beautiful.
And you get to see all of it.
You get to see
really
that.
Cool.
You get to see the starting of the '67 Fastback.
Yes,
that has a complete tube chassis.
That's going to blow some minds. People
fully
are
built tube chassis, and then it's got a Cobra Jet Coyote motor in it, which is insane. And then they've got a
the Hudson. I love that.
Yeah, the Hudson's the other one. The Hudson's got a Viper engine in it, a Viper V10, and they built the whole car off of a bunch of cool suspension products and parts. And the whole goal is this car is supposed to handle like a sports car, but it's a '49 Hudson
Because
Hornet.
the owner is generally like a supercar exotic
the guy
kind
likes,
of guy.
Yeah, guy owns exotics,
but
and
he wants an
supercars.
old school that drives new school. So
Well, he wants to be able to keep up. So
Yeah.
he wants to do runs with some of his buddies in supercars, but drive this '49 Merc
with
or
freaking
Hudson.
skirts on the back.
Yeah,
like,
with
it's
wheel
crazy.
skirts.
Yeah,
and,
it's rad.
So they're doing the interior very custom European style,
Yeah.
and then the Viper motor on it, the Corvette new C7 steering wheel, and
Yeah.
I mean they're really. It's a pretty wild machine, and so it's just that kind of stuff, and so that's what's going to be really neat is we get to go into each build,
So-
and they've got other stuff in the, like they built that Le Mans that's left now,
Yeah.
but it's got a ZR1 motor in it.
I thought that was super
From the
cool when he's
90s.
talking about it's got an LT5. Like, what?
Yeah, that's
You don't just come across those too often.
no, and that
No.
one's cool too.
So-
So there's a lot of cool stuff, and like we said, the Hudson's in bare metal, the Ford's still being built, the Mustang's still being built, but all three of those are going to be done this year, and it's going to
Yeah.
be kind of fun to see as they grow and as they get done more and more as they get finished and become full, beautiful pieces of art.
And just to that point, it's not going to happen overnight. So what you're
Yeah.
seeing is more real time. I know there's a lot of other shows that do like the build stuff, and they just like fast forward through
Well-
all the stuff that we find interesting. So
Well, and one of the cool things too this year is if you guys come to SEMA and you come to our booth at SEMA, we're going to have the 37 Ford that Kenny's Rod Shop built.
and you
that-
can scrutinize it to your heart's content. Look at that.
That
thing.
Jason
It's
Kilmer has
cool.
850 hours of wet sanding and polishing into it.
Scrutinize that too.
You can
yeah.
go through that. It's a driver,
It's just
so it'll have
nuts.
some rock chips on it, some other stuff. But this car was a $1.5 million build.
Mhm.
It was a Riddler Award contender.
Yeah.
It won Good Guys America's Best
Most beautiful hot rod
Roadster,
roadster.
and was a grade 8 contender. So 3 of the top show car hot rod awards you could buy, or you could get, not buy them, but that you could compete
Boy,
for.
that would just ruin it.
But
But yeah.
that's what we're gonna have in our they build some world class stuff. And
Oh,
we're fortunate
yeah.
enough to have them here in Idaho, so it's kind of fun to do this whole deal together with them. So we're real excited, real thankful. It's gonna be fun. Thank you,
And-
Dane, for plugging it.
Yeah, well, and we know what I wanted to point out about it. I know Anthony's chomping at the bit to tell a story from this weekend, but just what I wanted to get out there about the
No.
Shop Journal is, unlike a lot of stuff we do, we think it'll interest people who are into detailing and all that kind of thing, but it's not a detailing show.
No.
So basically, just know that going in, you're not going to find, perfect paint at all times there. But what
Yeah.
you will see is what leads up to
It's
a
a
car
different-
getting a paint job. You'll see all the different stuff that goes into the build process, which we
Well,
find really interesting. And
this
you'll
is
get
a different level of detail.
yeah, and you can nerd out over like all the little tweaks, all the little, nips, tucks, all that kind
Well,
of
in
stuff.
that first
they do.
episode
Very
when he's
cool.
going through the Hudson and you're hearing about all the little things that
Yeah.
he did to keep the doors to shut
Yeah.
properly.
Well,
I mean,
it's the
you're
kind
like,
of
you don't
stuff
even
where,
think about that stuff.
like, I love Icon Jonathan Ward, all his stuff. Like, a lot of people will see one of his creations and go, "You paid how much for that?" And
But
it's
he
like,
goes so
it's the
deep
stuff you
into it.
don't see that
Yep.
makes it so incredible. That's why I love when he did that Chevy Caprice, and everybody's looking like, "What?" It got so much hate, but I thought it was one of
I
the
did
coolest
too,
things.
yeah.
And that's kind of stuff. So if that kind of stuff appeals to you, obviously there's some really showy stuff here too. But you get to nerd out over the details. So
Well,
that's
and,
what we're doing.
And a lot of people don't ever, like we said, you don't get to see that process, or you don't get to hear him talk about the car. It's just a quick, here's what we did.
Yeah.
5, bop, 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 bop.
And then
That's it.
there's some manufactured drama. Oh, this guy's yelling at one of his workers. Oh no, whatever will we do? And
No,
then,
this
Yeah.
is about the cars
No.
and the guys behind it.
yeah.
So
it's
we're really
it's
excited,
real life
and you're going to get to learn about
stuff.
each employee and what makes them tick and all that. So
It's a cool showcase. And
Check
it's
it out, the shop-
supporting local business.
check it out,
cool.
the Shop Journal on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Just search. Just go on there. It's on the current
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Give it a
right there,
thumbs
right
up.
in
Share
front.
it with a friend. Like that's
Yeah.
a big thing. Is just
Check
share
it out
with
on
people.
Facebook at the Shop Journal, and I'm working on getting the Instagram feed built.
Because it's nice. It's a Rag
So-
Company video you can share with somebody who knows nothing about detailing, and it'll still appeal to them.
That's right.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
Any rate, guys, just wanted to get that out there. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
So,
Anthony, whose world did you rock this weekend?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pause right here. All right, yeah. So my weekend started on Friday night. I started cleaning around the garage, cleaning around the house because Katie's out of town. She went to Vegas for the weekend with her friends, and I told her that she would definitely come home to a clean house.
Oh,
So
how nice.
wanted to start in on. Well, I'm not
Is
super.
that one of her
well,
love languages?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Service?
I'm not
I
sure.
think it's
but
service is what that's called. It means when you do something.
Basically, I was out in the garage, cleaning up some stuff, and it was late. It was like way too late. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Digging through stuff.
And I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be out here. Like, what am I even out here for? And I find this box, and I open it up, and I look in there, and I see this sub amplifier wiring kit, right, for like a car stereo. And I look at it. I don't really think anything of it. I was just like, oh, this must have been an old kit from the move that I forgot to get rid of or something. So I kind of set it aside. And then I had to run upstairs for something because I left my flashlight or something upstairs in my office. So I ran upstairs in my office, and I'm going through some stuff, and I forgot that my roommate's old subwoofer was in my office, like kind of deep in my closet, right?
Yeah.
Completely forgot about it. And I
in your
looked at it.
bedroom.
And I looked at it. I do have my own office.
You do a lot of
nice.
Work in there. I understand.
But I'm looking, and I see this sub, and I'm thinking to myself, I have that wiring kit downstairs, and it's starting to come together, right? I'm like, Anthony, don't do this. Like, you do not need to do this. And I'm like, well, I have 2 out of the 3 things I need. I just need an amplifier, right? How much are amplifiers these days? Jump onto Walmart.com. End up finding a dual 600-watt amp with good reviews for like $59, and I'm like, holy crap!
So it's not a dual; it's a
dual, right? Dual.
Well, you made it sound fancy. I wanted to make sure that you weren't
dual.
It's like the Renault of
whatever I
amplifiers.
It is. It's the black sheep of the amplifiers. It's kind of like the Boss, not Bose.
Yeah.
And so. The dual, whatever. So dual. So I see that. I'm like, I could probably pick that up. So basically, I'm like, Anthony, am I gonna pull an all-nighter installing a system in the Civic, right? And I'm sitting there on my bed saying,
"Girl's not in town."
Well, I'm sitting there thinking, like,
answer to anybody. House is clean.
Don't do this, Anthony. You do not need to do this. And next thing you know, man, flip-flops are on. Keys in my hand. I'm driving to a Walmart. The first one I drive to, turns out they did not have that one in stock, even though it said they did. And I was like, crap, because I was feeling super motivated, right? I bought a Monster. I bought some candy. I'm like, this is going to be a good night, right?
Killed your vibe.
Probably get done at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But at that time, I left there, and I was like, you know what? I'll go first thing in the morning. I'll come back to a different Walmart and go pick it up. So next day, I woke up around 8 o'clock or whatever it was. Went to the store and went and picked up that amplifier and spent the morning installing the sub in my Honda Civic because I already had the deck in there. I already had a decent, nice little head unit, and that was the only thing I was missing was an actual sub. And I was like, well, I probably should do this right. So I removed all the interior plastics. I did everything up to a pro level.
Like you're supposed to.
I drilled through the firewall, and I had it to where I put a gasket on there so it's not going to be leaking. And I ran everything underneath the carpets, plastics. I ran everything through the rear trunk, and I made sure I had plenty of excess wire because you definitely don't want to cut that short because in those kits, they always give you a ground wire that's like 6 inches long, but everything else is like 10 feet.
A mile long, yeah.
So I hooked that up. I was super happy that I got that on the car. I think it's going to make the drive to work much more exciting. I don't know, more pleasureful. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Next, you got to do Dynamat and everything.
Oh,
see,
this
was the thing, though,
he was
right?
like
Because
gutting his trunk and relaying Dynamat. And
comes to work on the hydraulics.
Jeez, dude.
You wait, boys.
Thought you
This
just put a
Civic's
sub
going to
in
be
there.
looking pretty dirty. But no, my first car was a Honda Civic, and I had a subsystem in there, but it was a hatchback. And that thing bumped. If you guys have ever been in a hatchback with a system,
it's all air.
The sound goes up and over. It's like a bubble. Whereas in a trunk, everything's kind of muffled and it's never truly that great. So I definitely found that I had a few more rattles in this Honda Civic.
More stuff
Did you put one of the
vibrates.
seats down so you had some pass through?
No, I thought about doing that and mobbing around town doing that for a little while. But so I did that on basically that was kind of the beginning of my day on Saturday. Following to the evening, I had told my friend Alex with the Ford Raptor, if you've seen her video, we did a Wash Wednesday with her on our Rag Company YouTube channel. She had, I don't know what kind of aftermarket headlights they were, but they were kind of like this LED U-shaped aftermarket headlight. And if anybody knows anything about aftermarket headlights, you know that the clear that they put on there is the worst. It typically will fade after about a year. I think hers were about a year and a half old before they started completely deteriorating from the outside. So she was initially going to buy a new set, and I kind of told her, hey, you know, those could probably be refinished.
Pay me $400 and I'll refinish them for you.
And she's like, well, how much, how much does that cost? And because she's like, a new pair of headlights would be like $300. And I told her, realistically, we just need, some sandpaper and a can of 2K clear coat. And she's like, well, I'll just pay you $100 to do it. And I'm like, done, right? Yeah. So I went over to her house. We took off the headlights, which, by the way, Raptor headlights, by far the easiest headlights to remove ever. I'm talking 2 bolts.
I will challenge you on that one.
What's that?
Only because I discovered how easy it was to take the headlights out of my Volvo.
Oh, really?
You literally pull up this like L-shaped metal tab, and that's it. It just comes straight up, and they slide right out.
All right, then
I just had to rain on us parade.
Because even the Elantra, it's a high-performance machine, so it's got 3 bolts.
Oh, does it? Okay. Yeah. Well, because the Evo and the Civic, I got to take off the front bumper. Almost have to take off the fenders to remove them, which is not ideal. But so this was pretty easy to do. We pulled them out, and I wasn't going for a concourse level job because the thing was, I'll be honest, I forgot the KXK rid sticks and palm sanding blocks here at the office.
Jason would be so disappointed.
He was.
Actually, we told him.
He actually told him, and he was disappointed. And I said, I'm sorry.
He even said that while you were eating your burger.
I'm like, sorry, man.
Mouthful of fries. So I forgot.
By the way, Jason, Anthony failed you. So.
Yeah. Well, and then also I didn't have any sandpaper, so I had to go to his house. Then we had to jump in the car and go pick up.
You didn't plan on taking any home?
Didn't plan on this. This was literally the Friday night she hit me up and asked me, and so
you're like, I'm already home from work.
So went to the store, and I was looking for 800 grit. Initially, was what I was wanting to do was just use 800, but going back, I wish I would have picked up the 350 because even Jason said you should have went 350 first to 800, and I just went straight into 800. Yeah. And I did wet sanding with 800 just by hand, so I was just folding the paper in fourths and halves just to try to get as much even coverage as I could. So I ended up taking a while to get through even the crappy clear that was left on those headlights. It took me a while to get through with 800 grit, but eventually leveled everything out. And then prepped it with a IPA, half and half water IPA mix, cleaned them all up, taped off all of the remaining trim plastic around the headlight. I kind of propped it up in a little box.
I saw that. Right? It was a smart little booth setup.
It was like a little booth, and basically just took the spray and did. I would say it was 4 light to medium coats. I didn't lay it on super thick, but it was 4 coats. What I did, where it basically I could see the paint, the way it was falling onto the headlight. It looked good, right? It was laying like it should out of this can. But with the 2K clear, it's cool because it's a 2-part mix where you have to grab this little cap from the top and plug it into the bottom to activate the whatever is in that paint to make it to where it's a 2K. It's a 2-part paint. So. Basically cleared them, did 4 coats. The way the paint set was perfect. And then what I would have to do is to make it even more better than what it is now, because they're already clear and they're already super nice. I would just need to go back with maybe some 2,000 or 3,000 grit and wet sand the rest of it, and then polish them out, and those would be looking brand
they
new.
Look great in the picture.
In the pictures,
the photos
really
came out
good.
awesome.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen those, I need to post them in more places, but I posted those, and I think in Obsessed Garage and the Obsessed Garage Facebook group, so you can find them there to see kind of the before, the during, and then the after. And I think most people are pretty impressed that you could do that. And what's nice is with that 2K clear, that should last years rather than a year.
Stuff you took off.
Yeah, and especially with how much clear I put on there. If they have to be buffed again, they can be buffed again. There's enough on there to play with. But so following that, though, Sunday is actually when I started cleaning. Remember how I was saying I was going to start cleaning? I didn't actually start cleaning until Sunday because Katie got back.
Was on her way home
Sunday night.
Within an hour. You're like, I forgot.
So basically, I'll straight up. I hate cleaning the house. I don't get any enjoyment out of doing that, especially with house cleaning products. But the second you put some detailing products in my hand,
you had the IK foamer ready to go, the foam 9,
I'm okay with
loaded
this.
up. You're getting ready to foam the TVs and the couches.
It's like it just makes it to where I'm like,
turn on the pressure washer.
Like, this is what I know. This is my domain. I know the finish I can get with these products. I know what kind of towels I need, and this is what I know. If you hand me a paper towel and some pledge, I'm like, well, these are going to be some pretty spotty results, right?
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I grabbed, I had a handful of what we call our car wash towel in light blue, which is a 16 by 27, 80/20 Terry at 320 GSM.
Yep.
So these make great all around the house towels because there's plenty of surface area and you can fold them in countless times. Big towels. But using those, I used the IK multi-sprayer with O&R at standard dilution, and then I had my trusty old bead maker here. So I gave literally everything a wipe down. Kitchen, I was hitting all my...
You hit your counters with bead maker.
Yeah, hit my counters with bead maker.
All that stuff.
I did my refrigerator. So somebody actually made a comment about this on Instagram. But basically on my stainless steel, I used O&R to clean off my stainless steel and to remove the fingerprints.
Yeah, which is what I do. It's the best.
And I've been doing that since I found out about O&R. You've been doing that for years, right?
It's like my favorite stainless steel.
Ivan LaCroix came out of the womb. You handed him a bottle of O&R, and he started cleaning stainless steel as an infant. It was super weird.
Yeah.
And so basically we know that it can safely be used. But this guy made it a point to say that when cleaning with other than stainless steel products, right? Because he says he works closely to the manufacturer's recommendations, or he works in the manufacturing process of those cleaners for stainless steel. He says that if you don't use those properly, you'll remove the natural oils in the stainless steel, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, because you're trying to keep an oil finish on it.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't rust.
Yeah, I get
basically. That's their reasoning.
Correct.
But nowadays, half the time you don't know if it's vinyl or actual stainless that's on there.
Yeah. Very true. And so I made it a point to say that, with O&R and microfiber towel, it's probably one of the safest ways to clean stainless steel without removing any extra oils. I'm not using any degreasers or anything like that. It's a very mild, it's not a cleaner if you want to call it that. But, I kind of made it a point to say that most people are cleaning their kitchen and their stainless steel with lemon pledge and paper towels,
or just
right?
water and paper towels,
or Pine Sol,
or Pine Sol. Yeah, I mean, like most people,
or 409, or Clorox Kitchen and Bath.
Yeah,
ooh,
I mean,
bleach.
They're using pretty heavy duty caustic chemicals.
Yeah, and that happens more often than not. It's to where I kind of made it a point, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I do understand." And I let him know that what you can do is you can put a sealant on your stainless steel, like bead maker, for example.
Yep.
And
it's like you're just trying to sell me on it.
Whatever.
It's
the hype product of 2018.
So I was telling Anthony when he's telling his story, one of the cool things I did was, guys, we sell silver infused microfiber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get their 80/20 towels, their utility towels, their maybe 250, 300 GSM. They have an edge. They're edgeless. I mean,
I was just saying,
they don't have
an
edge. They're edgeless towels.
Edgeless.
They come in red or green striped gray. They're gray with a red or a green stripe on them.
Yep.
But they have a silver thread woven through them as well. So they're silver infused, and that silver also has an antimicrobial agent put inside the towel.
Yeah.
Which then kills
the
bacteria that gets in the towel within 24 hours.
And guys, this is not hocus pocus. This is actually scientifically proven, backed up in several studies.
We have the actual studies on the link.
We got the receipts.
On the link for the silver infused towels. Yeah. So if you want to check it out, go on the Rag Company page, type in silver, and it'll pull up the towels.
Yep.
And then you can see there's a PDF file. You can pull it. We had that done because we sell these to hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And restaurants. And
because traditionally
they
those places just douse their towels in bleach and
they wanted to show that with just water alone, these towels can remove this much contamination, which is pretty ridiculous.
It's impressive. And obviously you don't hear about it much as detailers because they aren't really usually steered towards you. They're towards the people doing an environment that's high in bacteria and stuff like that. But they exist. And we have them.
So, folks, buy your significant others some silver-infused towels to clean the house with.
Get them into microfiber. Yeah. Make it exciting.
Gateway drug.
Back to what I was saying. So, I cleaned the house with all sorts of different detailing products, and it made it a lot more fun. But about halfway through that, I get a call from my friend Mitch, who was the one that owned that black Supra.
Yeah.
And he calls me and says, hey, man, I got a little bit of an emergency. I need to wash the vehicle immediately because I left the car out in my front yard last night, and it was a little bit dusty, and the cat walked on it. And there was cat that walked on the hood and on the roof. And he's like, dude, I'm freaking out right now. I don't know how to wash the car because I got all the supplies from you at the rag company. I just, you haven't taught me yet.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. I'm like, what are you doing right now? I'll come over and I'm going to show you how to wash your car.
Private Wash Wednesday.
And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm home right now. Just, come on over. So I rode my bike over there. I showed up at his house. He had already had the towels. He had all the product laid out and everything. Had the Supra backed out. So normally he parks in the garage, but I guess it was one night where he was going to go somewhere or somewhere, and he said that he was doing something in the garage where he didn't want to get anything on the Supra. I think it was painting or something, so he backed it out.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I didn't think the Supra sitting out in my driveway for a couple hours would do anything, but it had gathered dust over a week because he had been driving it.
Folks.
Black car. He had a catwalk on it. So went over there. Immediately started kind of showing him the process, right? And that was basically doing a full rinseless wash and converting him to the rinseless wash method because he has gloss coat on his car now. And so I showed him how to mix up his O&R. He got one of the fancy buckets from TRC with the blue little wash sticker on them. And then for the wash media, I got him set up with Eagle 350s, Platinum Pluffles as his drying towels, 220x40s for that. I got him set up with 5 Black Creature Edgeless for his wheels, which would be for washing and drying. I got him set up with 2 Everest 550s for spot cleaning and quick detailing. And then he had a couple gray creatures for door jams, other random, dirty jobs or whatever he needs those for. And then he got instant detailer, gloss enhancer, bead maker, of course.
Nice.
What else did he grab? Power clean, and then O&R.
All the stuff that was in that picture. You
all
posted
the stuff that was in the picture on
Instagram.
I posted up on Instagram.
There were a lot of people who wanted that kit as if it was a kit, and it was like, well, it's actually what.
So you can check it out. It was roughly. I know we don't talk about pricing. It was around the $200 range for everything that he picked up, but basically got it all set up. And it was funny because I had joked around with him prior and told him that I hate to admit this, but I use distilled water when I wash everything. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's just because we have really hard water, especially where I live in the South Meridian area
almost
in
to
Idaho.
Nampa.
Yep.
Almost to. It's not Nampa. Stop saying that.
You live closer to Nampa than I do.
Yes, I do.
Levi thinks everything that direction is Nampa. If it's
for people that don't know,
it's past the Y. It's Nampa to me.
For people that don't know, Nampa is the in that scene where in The Lion King where Simba is sitting, with his dad, and they look in that far land. They say beyond that point, you don't want to go there, right?
It's Nampa.
It's the wastelands. That's how we think of Nampa.
Well, for some of my Californian friends, if you happen to live like around Ventura or something, Nampa's basically Oxnard to Boise's Ventura.
Yeah.
So for those who know,
I do live closer to Cuna than I do Nampa.
I'll give you that.
But I don't know if that's saying much though, because Cuna is also this other sort of beast there.
We're gonna have some angry
Cunites?
Nampa-ite commenters now.
Namponians. Anyways, I love you all. You guys are great. So.
Go after him.
getting back to what I was saying. So he had hard water, so he himself picked up distilled water, right? And he had big old gallons of it. He's like, I got distilled water because he said that was the best. I'm like, oh crap, right? Like I can start
a monster.
I can start to see what's happening, and it's like I wasn't quite sure yet, right? Until we started washing. And then he was just like, man, I'm not going to lie. I was so upset about the cat thing. Like, this car looks so good, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep it looking this good, no matter what it takes. And I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, crap. I'm like,
it's straight up clinical now.
I've created a monster, and this is not good. So I look at him,
in your own image, no less.
I say, Mitch, you're going to go down a dark path, man. I don't wish this on anyone. This is not something that you want to do.
But I'm here to hold your hand.
But I'm here to help you out because
it's too late
I
for you
know
now.
what it's like. And I think it's a matter of seeing your car in such a perfect state.
You see the potential.
There's two different types of people. There's a type of person that sees that and says, "Oh, cool, time to go back to normal life." And if it gets hammered again, this is a service I'll do again. And then there's the other person that sees that and says, "Oh wow, this is amazing. I don't ever want it to stop looking like this."
Well, yeah,
I need it to be here all the time.
And we talked about this. There are some people that will go buy a new car.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to do. Their car's just so dirty and filthy, and they're like, "This is just how it is."
That's a list video I'm working on right now.
I have to go buy a new one.
Yeah.
Or him looking at it going like, I'm going to have to repaint it. I don't know how to make it better. Yeah. And then you make it better. And now he's like,
now he can't even think about repainting it. And that thought has completely left him.
Now he's like, how do I maintain? How do I
He's so in love
it?
with the way the car looks right now. And so that's when we started the wash process. So we using the IK 1.5. What we did is he had 4 gallons of distilled water. We put all 4 gallons of distilled water into the bucket. Following that, we grabbed the IK sprayer. We actually mixed the dilution of O&R in the bucket first, and you got it to where it's the perfect dilution, which was 1 capful to a gallon, half an ounce to a gallon. And then what we did was we filled up the IK sprayer, put the cap on, and we did a pre-spray with the 1.5 on the more of the mist fan setting. And so I simply told him, since this is not going to be his daily driver and this is living in the garage, the most dirt this is going to see is pretty much light dust from driving and sitting in the garage. So what you need to do is just get even coverage and allow O&R to start doing the work, because there's a lot of technology or a lot of technology,
a lot of science,
behind that wash product. So following that, we grabbed all the Eagle 350s he got, which he had a big old stack, threw those into the bucket, and I explained to him what we're doing is we're pulling each towel out, 1 towel at a time if he's doing the wash himself, or each of us get a towel, folding it into fourths, and at fourths we would have 8 total sides to work with for wiping the vehicle down. So total wipe in straight lines, flip the towel as necessary, check the towel. And with the Eagle 350 being lavender, it's nice because it's still light enough to where you can see dirt. So you're not going to be rubbing that same side in over and over again. But it's still dark enough to where it's not going to ruin a towel, like if you would have a white towel.
It doesn't look atrociously ugly.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look bad. So we wiped down the whole car, and he agreed that process was faster than the soap and water method. Right. And the 2-bucket method, he's like, this is amazing because I've only had to go back to the bucket to change out my towel. Ended up using mostly all of the towels. We didn't introduce the towels back into the bucket, right? So basically we're just pulling towels out, and that bucket still had fresh O&R behind, right? So following that, we filled up the IK again inside that bucket with the O&R mixture that was still in there, went back through, did another light pre-spray, and that's when I told him we're going to go ahead and kind of, basically this is going to be our bead maker application. I know that this is different than what most people would do, but this was my kind of insurance policy on this, is that I wanted there to be plenty of lubrication on the surface, whether there's tons of O&R on there and whether it's diluting the bead maker or not. I wanted to make sure that this was going to be a very smooth drying process. So with a little bit of O&R misted onto the surface, that's when we grabbed the bead maker and started laying it on thick. So we did plenty of sprays per panel, grabbed the platinum pluffles, sprayed the towels himself, and then started drying the car. And it was funny because I was like, while I was drying the car, I wasn't even looking at the car. I was just watching him to see what his reaction was. And so I see him do his first pass. I see him flip the towel onto the dryer side and buff it off. And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God." and he sits there and he's like, "Why does this feel like this?" And I'm like, feel like what? And he's like, "It's so smooth. But it's like weird smooth." And I'm like, "Well, grab your finger and go and touch it, right?" And he's like, "I can't believe what I'm feeling right now." Yeah. He's like, literally, it's like he shows me. He's like, "Dude, I have chills because this is so smooth."
Yeah,
I'm
never
like,
felt anything like
he
that.
really did create a monster.
He's like, I am so. This is crazy. He's like, "This is crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty nuts, right?" And so we ended up drying the rest of the car, and it was just funny because we go and sit down the drying towels, and we grab the Everest 550s, and I say, "Let's go back and touch up some spots with bead maker that we missed, or didn't lay it on thick enough. We'll go back with these towels." and he's sitting there, and I could just see it in his eyes. He's looking at different angles, and he's looking at the paint, and he's just like, oh my God. He's like, it just looks incredible. It looks ridiculous. And he's like, I'm still really upset about the cat jumping on this car because, like, you know, that could have been avoided. And I'm like, don't think like that, Mitch. Just get lost in the paint.
Don't go insane.
Get lost in the glossy black. But basically, end up cleaning that off. Showed him how to clean the wheels separately using the IK 1.5 and just the towel method. We end up using that reusing that O&R that was left inside the bucket there. Yeah. Wash the towels. Put some Shine All by PNS on the tires, which is a water-based dressing. Really nice, deep black look is what I like that it gives the tires. And so he was pretty pumped on that because he was actually the day prior he had put the Hoosers on because he was going to take it to the track. And he because I think he said it's about 600 wheel horsepower on that Supra and wheel horsepower. But he said he was having some boost breakup at the higher RPMs where he says he was just getting some cutouts that he was trying to track down. So had to take the Hoosers off and put the other ones back on. But they definitely needed a little bit of Shine All on them to clean them up. But yeah, after that, went back through the door jams with the Creature Edgeless in gray, sprayed a little quick detailer on there, a little bit of bead maker, went back and cleaned those up, and the car looked amazing. I mean, it looked so good. I actually have a video on my phone I will definitely share with you. It was an overcast day, which I would argue that it was actually almost helpful. I mean, in terms of how glossy it showed.
Cheater weather.
And, well, it's the day it landed on. But, no, so that was kind of the whole day there. Went back home after that and finished cleaning the rest of the house. I got to play with some, I don't want to say maybe new products, just playing with some stuff. I'll leave it at that. Cleaning my couch and stuff like that. You know, clean up some dog hair.
You shared the video with us, and it was pretty awesome. It was one of those things where
wish,
it's like,
that's an understatement.
We need to come up with it. So
yeah, this is something I can't tell you guys too much about it, but let's just say it made cleaning my couch with my animals much easier.
So maybe if interiors frustrate you, this will end up being something
maybe one of the best things you'll end up using. But
whoa, hype man, keep it down.
sorry, hype. God, I gotta keep my hype in check. Yeah. Can that be a hashtag? Keep the hype in check or something.
That's a good one. I like that.
We need to self-police.
Yeah.
But Company Podcast 2018.
Yeah, so I picked up Katie last night at like 1:30. I was up late, man. I was because I'd continued cleaning throughout that night, and man, my house looked good. It looked good. It smelled good. We had those little diffusers that put out nice little air. Put some fresh lavender essential oils in there, and let's just say the house was it was smelling pretty good.
Moment of truth though, was she impressed?
Oh yeah.
She even noticed?
No,
was she like just tired.
She was so happy because the thing is the house is definitely her domain for cleaning. The cars are my domain, right? And she respects what I do, and I definitely respect what she does. But half the time, I cannot make the house look as good as she can. I can't. I just whatever she does. Whenever I walk in, I'm like, man, you do such a good job.
And then she fell in the tub because you put bead maker on the tub.
Well, I didn't put bead maker on the tub, but I did. I did MDR my shower glass though, because I did need to get rid of some mineral deposits on there. But no, she was just super jazzed. She did feel the countertop, and she's like, "Did you buff this? Did you take your polisher on this?" I'm like, no, but I didn't want to tell her that I sprayed bead maker on there.
This morning she's making a sandwich.
You're just like, sniff this bottle.
Well,
and then sniff it.
She doesn't lay down straight food on the thing, but I know that if I told her I would spray a detailing chemical on the counter, she probably wouldn't have been happy about that.
No, I kept telling my wife, I was like, I want to put bead maker on this countertop because it's like my kids are so messy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it'll help. And she's like, they eat off this countertop. That's why.
Yeah.
Like my kids, for some reason, certain foods, they don't like plates.
Oh.
They want paper towels.
Oh.
That's how they
just
are.
Because kids doing kid things, so.
They're like, I don't want it on a plate. I want it on a paper towel.
If you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and you're looking through like the tile section,
they have stuff.
They have like sealants there, and I guarantee those are no
sealants
worse for you than something like this.
You seal it up.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you should seal it to help prevent certain
I actually need to
products
redo mine
and chemicals.
Got a lot of granite that needs.
I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. I think you have to wait a little while to eat off the surface. That's all.
Yeah.
So
Get some cure time, right?
Yeah. Cure time.
I might get some bead maker and do that to mine.
I don't know about an 8-hour cure time. It's more of like a couple hour, but whatever.
Okay. See, everybody has this. Why don't we try and clear a little of that up as far as like the 8-hour versus?
No, so it's totally based on the humidity of the area that you're at.
Because some
changes
people,
the level of the cure time. That's it.
Some people feel like it's ready to go within like
some people do have that ready to rock.
Yeah.
Other people, it takes a little while. It just depends on the temperature and it depends on the humidity of your area.
Yep.
Here up in Idaho, we're finding, anywhere from 3 to 8 hours.
Yeah, our humidity
I'm
never
sitting
past,
sitting at like 3 or 4 hours. I'm talking tops typically before I know that it is substantially.
It feels harder.
Slicker.
We say
harder.
8 because that's a safe.
It feels like there's a shell on the paint.
Yeah.
Well, it says there's 8 on the bottle here, but
realistically, it could be faster.
Yeah. But again, hype product of 2018. You didn't hear it from us,
Boom.
folks.
Sealant Wars 2018.
Watch you absolute shills. You're going to stop talking about it after this month. It's just never going to be heard from again. And people be like, I
kind of hope people stop talking about it, and the people that just like it keep buying it. Yeah. But there's no more talk about it. I hope that it just calms down.
Just keeps it cool.
It's just funny that. I don't know. I just think it's funny that so many people...
What it was about that, maybe it was just they weren't as familiar with something like this.
Well, it's the fact that a lot of people aren't familiar with it, so they're like, oh, it must be bad, because I've never heard of it.
Well,
but then you go, no, it's been out for a couple years.
Yeah, it's not a brand new thing.
But then the next thing they do is the people that are educated just jump straight into a comparison. They say, well, why would I use this over this?
Blah.
And then then you have to say, I don't know, why would you use any product over anything else? You have to try it. You have to see if it works better for you than the other product, then go from there.
Yeah, it's actually a little different than most of the things that's getting compared
one thing that we wanted to let you guys know, in October, we do have PNS.
Hang out.
We've got Bob and Dave Phillips coming to Boise to our location.
To the chemist.
We're literally going to have Dave on our podcast. And we will talk to him, and we will go deep down the rabbit hole that is Beadmaker.
We will venture down that rabbit hole.
We will answer all the questions that you want. You want to send them to us, we will send them. We'll give them to Bob.
Well, for the people that are really concerned about Beadmaker and the popularity and whether or not it's good or bad for whatever they want to do,
the industry,
come up here.
Yeah,
this is an invite
come hang out.
To come
it's
hang out.
It's going to be Saturday, October 13th.
Come play with stuff.
Come hang out with us. Get to meet Dave and Bob. The brothers that own PNS, their dad started the company in the 60s. So
they've been making their own chemicals for
what they need to do is we need to get like a special for our TRC event. Say, hey, can you change the color of Beadmaker for our event to change it to TRC blue? Oh, man, right, and it'll be our special edition. And if you show up, there's like 100 bottles or something that you can get. Right, Dane's eyes lit up, and he's just like, that would be. That would be kind of cool.
Our luck, though, orange is the color that it's got to go. So we put in blue.
Honestly, if the color changes, I would still want it to smell exactly the same, though.
I know,
man.
I love the smell. Yeah, it smells so good. But
so we'll have them October 13th along with Rennie Doyle and Bob Eichelberg of Flex.
Hey.
So October 13th, Saturday. Those four will be in the Rag Company at the store, in the studio.
It's a packed house, guys.
Doing stuff. So come check it out. Looks like our camera just went out, so that's super cool.
I guess that's a clue.
I think that wraps it up, though. I mean, we're pretty much at the end of the show.
September 8th, 2 weeks from now, we will have Justin Pate from the Rap Institute doing a live demo here at the Rag Company. So also, guys, come down to that. It's free. If you've ever wanted to know anything about wrapping cars, we've got the basically expert in the world when it comes to wrapping cars.
Oh, yeah.
So... no better person to learn from. And again, that's why we do this stuff. We want to bring the best and the brightest of all the different manufacturers from the industries, all that kind of stuff here, just to provide that education and that knowledge so that you can benefit from it.
You will learn something.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, that's it.
Cool, guys.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that sums it up. Don't really have anything left to add today. So
we're out of camera life. Let's do it.
Well, looking at a blank screen so you can only hear us. But for those listening, it doesn't matter. Because if you're listening, you're probably on iTunes or shoutengine.com at the Rag Company Podcast. But if you were watching us and your video feed was so rudely interrupted by the camera dying, you're probably on the Rag Company Podcast channel on YouTube. So that's where you're watching it at. All right, guys. So if you aren't already subscribed on YouTube, go to the Rag Company Podcast channel and subscribe there as well, because, we got 2 channels now. So
yeah, we do.
Anyway,
see you guys.
Thanks so much for listening. We're out.
See ya.